To move on, to travel, to flee. To let yourself go or to find yourself? That is the question. An existential dilemma, a crisis of conscience, or just an inner need to discover the world and yourself. Farther from where you stand, closer to who you are. The door opens and you fly away, flapping your wings. Pain never existed. The expression fuga mundi sends us back to the Middle Ages. It defines that particular religious attitude based on detachment from the world. It means escaping within the spiritual. Nonetheless, this concept has been revisited with a like accent by different artists in contrast with the society of their time. They felt the need to set themselves apart in order to find shelter in places more suitable for their personalities. Mention could be made of the troubled personalities of the French cursed poets Baudelaire and Rimbaud, or the beatniks with particular focus on Jack Kerouac. They all share a common thread, consisting in a sense of distress and discomfort with a society they don't belong to. This is the reason why they need to escape it and examine themselves. Nevertheless, most of the time their journey does not consist in a physical travel. The experimentation of drugs and alcohol consumption become a way to detach from reality in order to try out new experiences in which they are able to recognize themselves. If on the one hand this way of traveling, abstract or physical, seems to be amazing and mystical, on the other one it is agonizing and useless for practical purposes. Even though we are far from the belief that traveling could be aimless in some way, it is evident that this continuous search for something extravagant and different brings all three artists back to their demons. Nonetheless, that sense of discontinuity felt during the journey allows them to break with the habit. This is the reason why escapism never loses its charm for these personalities. Travel can be both fascinating and something we can learn from. Further consideration may be given to another artist, Hermanès. Close to the above-mentioned authors in terms of distress and discomfort with the world, he stands out for his desire to learn from every experience, making best use of it. His Siddhartha, in fact, dissatisfied with the monotony of his daily routine, travels in an attempt to find out more about himself and his wider role in the society. And this is not all. At the end of the novel, he will realize the real journey is inward and his spiritual growth only depends on him. A century later, Richard Bach describes a similar story in his Jonathan Livingston Seagull. He tells the story of a young seagull in the midst of a teenage crisis. Despite the difficulty of being different and banished by his flock, the brave Jonathan goes on in order to make his dream come true. He learns how to fly at tremendous speeds and returns his flock in order to teach the others what he has learned. this story seems to be a metaphor for travel and life. In order to find happiness, everyone should learn how to know himself, because it is the only way to win freedom. And the purpose of travel is to find out our role in the world by enriching both the mind and soul. In the 19th century, the German philosopher Hegel had already told a story like this in his Phenomenology of Spirit. He describes the process through which human consciousness recognizes itself as a self-consciousness. By going outside its inner dimension, consciousness is forced not only to face reality, but also to learn from it and mediate between the outside world and itself. It is the reason why it comes out as a better entity. Nearer to what's said so far, travel becomes aimless if considered as an escape from ourselves. According to Seneca, no journey can set us apart from our fears and thoughts. And there is one simple reason. If you really want to escape the things that harass you, what you are needing is not to be in a different place, but to be a different person. Only by improving ourselves, it is possible to deal with monsters and demons lurked within us. Only this way should everyone start his journey.